Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new year. So this is the first video I've posted this entire year on this channel, and yeah, I figured we might as well start it off with a Banlist discussion. So this is also a wish list, more of a wish list than anything honestly, but it could be real if some of these cards decide to actually make their way to the real list. So here we are, we're talking about it, and you know, it comes out on the January 17th, no sooner than January 17th, so could release today, and then they could actually have it go into effect on the 17th. They've done that before, release it a little bit early, but most likely it'll come out, I don't know, maybe a week later, maybe the day of. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say from Konami because they don't really give an exact time and date, so a little bit weird, but they've been better with it recently, so that's pretty nice. I do want to mention first that my voice is a little weird. I was sick last week, and I'm just getting over it, but my voice sounds great, or not great yet. It's recovering, but I feel great, and yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this now. So first card we have up is obviously Arch Nemesis Protoss. This card should be banned. I don't think that's really a surprise to anyone. I don't think that's a crazy take. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that they want to hit Sword Soul this early on, and I think that hitting Protoss is probably the best call. I think that this is very similar to hitting Zodiac Trident when Tri-Brigade Zoo was a thing, and I think the reason for that is very similar because obviously it's not like a one-to-one comparison because Protoss is way more like oppressive than Trident is, but they don't want to hit, you know, Sword Soul. They want to hit a card that Sword Soul plays. So I think Protoss is obviously the best choice for that. So moving on, we have Artifact Scythe. Obviously, this card is the problem, not Dagda, not DPE. This card's clearly the problem. This card is just better with those cards, but clearly this is the source of the issue. So I figured that Artifact Scythe should be banned. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone as well. Moving on, we have El Shaddoll Window. So I played Invoked Shaddoll Dogmatica for a while, and being able to access this card with literally no Shaddoll cards in the main deck is busted. And honestly, probably shouldn't exist. A lot of people are saying they should hit Apkalone or they should hit Schism. I completely disagree. I think that Apkalone's really cool. It allows like some really cool plays with Aerial. It allows some really cool plays with like Dragon and Beast and like a lot of other options like that. But like Winda is clearly the problem card. So I think that Winda should also be banned. Similar to, I guess, just Scythe technically. But yeah, if this card could be destroyed by card effects, I think that this card would be completely fair probably and should be fine. But because that can't be destroyed by card effects and has like an insane effect, it's clearly like the problem card. Next card that we have on the list is a really spicy take from me, but here we have Invoked Macaba. So let me justify this for you guys really quick. So Invoke's been around for 6 years. I think that is it's no surprise to anyone that I think that Invoked needs hits. A lot of people are saying, oh, they should hit Meltdown, which is fair, you know, like reduce the consistency of the Invoked engine. But I'm coming from a different route. I think that Macaba was never meant to be like summoned by one card. Literally, Alistair makes Macaba, and it was never meant to be that way. The Invoked engine got better over time with the release of Mirage, with the release of Secure. Like with the release of those cards, you could instantly make Macaba, and that was just the problem. Is because like you would have to put in a different engine, you'd have to put Mech Knights or, you know, something into your Invoke deck to actually make it like playable. You can make the Macaba, and that was actually pretty fair for the most part, honestly. But now that you can, you know, just Alistair, normal summon, make Macaba, and you have a follow-up for the next turn, it's ridiculous and completely not fair. And I think that banning Macaba is actually the right route, because then your normal summon Alistair turns into, okay, you can make Purgatrio, and then on the next turn, like, you can make a Goides. Sure, that's fine. That's fair, you know? Like, you put a body on the board, and you have follow-up for the next turn, and you have follow-up for the next turn. Like, you know, you have all this follow-up, but you're not making a boss monster that, like, just banishes cards and negates cards. I think that Macaba is clearly the problem card, and I'm a little bit biased here because in my non-meta tournament that I have, Macaba is the ban card, and the Evoke deck is literally fine. No one's playing it, and if you do play it, it's not even that good. And I think that that is completely fair. I think the Macaba needs to be banned. Moving on, I have another card that isn't really a spicy take. Imperial Order. Clearly, this card is an issue. There's nothing to say about this. This card is busted. So yeah, nothing to say about that. A lot of people have the argument that, oh, Red Reboot is like the same thing but for trap cards, and no one's advocating for Red Reboot ban. Well, guess what? I'm advocating for Red Reboot ban as well, because I think that both of these cards are completely unfair. Imperial Order obviously more than Red Reboot because a lot of spells are more relevant in the game. But if you side Red Reboot and then you go against a trap deck and you just activate Red Reboot, you just win the game. Like, you just kill them that turn, or you make a Zeus and then clear their board anyway and they lose. So Red Reboot is just not fair, especially versus trap decks. I think that clearly if you want to play something that's actually fair, you should play Lightning Storm or Twin Twisters that actually are like fair against those type of decks. And then for the next card, I have Mystic Mine. I personally hate this card. I think a lot of people obviously hate this card. But I don't see Konami hitting this card to 0 at least. It's pretty likely that they will, if they hit this card, they'll hit it to 1. I could also see them just not touching this card, which I would be pretty upset about, but I could see it happening. I would just prefer if Konami did hit this card, it would go to 0, but realistically, I see it going to 1 more often than not. Next, for the rest of our limited cards, we have a situation that could be one of these two cards, and that's Tri-Brigade Fractal or Recital Starling. So the difference here is that Tri-Brigade has been around for, you know, a little over a year now. I think we're coming up on a year and a half, because I believe it was released in October-ish. So we're coming on the year and a half mark with Tri-Brigade. And I think that it's had its time to shine. I think that it's fair if we hit the Fractal to 1. It's not like banning it. It's not making the deck unplayable. I think that it's just, you know, reducing the consistency of the deck, which I think is completely fair. You know, Konami's done selling this. They've reprinted Fractal in the tins, all the Tri-Brigade cards even. So Fractal going to 1 is fine, but I could also see them hitting Recital Starling to 1, but most likely one or the other, not both. But if I do see one getting hit more than the other, it's probably going to be Fractal. But if they don't hit Fractal, they'll probably hit Recital Starling, because being able to make Utopic Draco Future off of like just 2 cards and Bird Up is insane. And then also you get a Searcher Tri-Brigade card off of Nerval, which is pretty cool. So I could see them hitting this or this. I could also see them possibly hitting Nerval, but if they hit Nerval, like, they should have just hit Fractal, you know? So I think that Fractal's probably the most likely candidate to get hit. And that's going to do it for cards going onto the list. Next, for the rest of the video, we're going to be talking about cards that I want to see come off or to a higher status. So first off, we have Tellarknight Ptolemaeus. So I know this card requires 2 or more level 4 monsters, but realistically you're always going to be making this with 3 level 4 monsters, and the reason for that is for its first effect where you can detach 3 materials and then summon a rank 5 from your extra deck. The only good rank 5 in the game is banned, and that's Azathoth, which you would have made with 2 level 4s anyway. So yeah, what are you going to make? Nova Infinity? Sure, that's fine. Why would you do that, though, when you could make Verte instead and make DPE? Why would you do that when you can make an Omni Negate in the form of Dragoon, you know? Dragoon's way better than Infinity is. The only difference is you don't have to pay cost with Infinity, which is, like, whatever. It's really not that big of a deal. Plus, you're using more resources to make the Ptolemaeus in the first place. And they're way more specific because they have to be level 4 monsters. So I think that it's just not that good of a card anymore. And I might be a little bit biased here because I own an ultimate rare copy of this. But no, this card's fine. This card, like, maybe it'll facilitate an FTK with like a rank 5 or something, but I seriously doubt it. So I think Ptolemaeus is okay if it comes off the list and goes to 1. Next up, we have a little bit of a spicy take, but I don't think this one's that big of a deal. Perform Mage Plush Fire. This card is, what, searchable off of Hat Trigger? Sure, that's fine. You have to play like a brick to search this. That's not a big deal. Plus, if you do pop it, you're probably going to be summoning Hat Trigger. So that's, like, kind of cool. But, like, realistically, this card's not extremely accessible, and you're not going to be doing a whole lot with it. Like, maybe the hat tricker searches like the other scale that's bad, or the hat trigger, is that the name, the one that specials from hand? Maybe I'm thinking, well, damage juggler, the ones that search, hat trigger is the one that specials if you have 2 monsters. So maybe like one of those two, or you could play like trick clown. Like, I don't know, like none of these cards seem like overly broken. Like, they're cool extenders and stuff, but like I really don't think that like Perform Age Plush Fire is really that big of a deal. So this card could come back to 1 literally like 3 formats ago, and it would have made a difference. It could have come to 3 probably and been fine. So yeah, Plush Fire should go to 1. Duh, obviously. Next we have Orchestra Harp Horror. This one might be a little bit more touchy. A lot of people are advocating for this and Colossus. And I disagree on the Colossus because I think it's really broken. But I think that the Harp Horror could be fine. I don't see it being too broken or anything like that. Because like Orcus just isn't that good. And, you know, breaking the Harp Horror back could make it a tier 2 strategy, which would be really nice. And I think that, you know, Orcus hasn't been played for a long time. It's been very severely overlooked. And I think that it would just be really cool to have, you know, like, a good Orcus deck in the format, especially because Gearsu was like released and everyone was like, oh, Orcus is gonna be insane, grab your Orcus engine now, and nothing happened. And then we got the reprint, nothing happened, you know. So it'd be really cool to see Gearsu and Harp Horror in the same format in the same deck. That'd be pretty cool. Next, moving on, we have Blaster. This is the next worst Dragon Ruler outside of Tempest. I think Tempest is clearly the worst, but this one's also bad. Maybe Tidal could come back like alongside this or instead of this, but I think that Blaster is the next worst, which I could see them bringing back to 1 and it'd be fine. So yeah, nothing else to say about that. Blaster should probably come off the list. Next we have Chicken Game. So this is really cool, but I have a caveat to this. This should come back only and only if Mystic Mine goes to 0 or to 1. And the reason I say that is because of a card called Set Rotation, basically. So in Mystic Mine, you would just play 4 copies of Mystic, well, actually 5 if you count the Terraforming, because you'd have 3 Mystic Mine, a Terraforming, and a Set Rotation, and the Metaverse. So I guess you'd have 6, I guess. Ways to get to Mystic Mine, just like with nothing else in the format. So that'd be really insane, because then your Set Rotation can grab you grab you Chicken Game as well, which would be insane. So I don't know. I think that would be like an insane boost to Mystic Mine players if we got Chicken Game, and it just wouldn't be fair. So I think that Mystic Mine should go to 1 or 0, and then Chicken Game would be completely fine at 1 in the format. And I actually really love this card. This card is like one of my favorite cards of all time, just because how cool it is. But it's like realistically probably not going to happen ever. But it could be really cool to see this in a lot of decks. You know, decks would play Terraforming, Chicken Game, and Set Rotation if they play a field spell, and then you just have more access to your field spell. And I think that could be really cool. I think that it's pretty interesting deck building stuff. Next up, we have a card that should go from 1 to 2, which is our good old friend Sekka's Light. I can also see this card coming to 3 and be fine, but I have it on 2 at this list because I think that it's really cool. I actually really like Sekka's Light. It encourages a lot of really cool deck building strategies, and I don't think that it's amazing because I think that a lot of players want to play board breaking cards that are spells and traps, such as Evenly, Lightning Storm, Twin Twister, you know, Dark Ruler, Forbidden Droplet, Chalice, even like Imperm. You know, you have all of these cards that are really good at board breaking that are spells and traps, but they're just like, if you can't play them, it really like hurts your deck, and you'd have to play other cards like hand traps, which I guess could be really cool to see. But I just like the way that Sekka's Light encourages like innovative deck building. And that's what's really cool to me. So I would really like to see Sekka's Light go to 2. Another card that I'd like to see either go to 2 or to 3 is Regeki. This card's like not even seeing play in the TCG. It hasn't seen play in like 2 or 3 years. just put this card off the list. It's literally fine. I know this card was like a staple in like deck lists for like 3 years when it came out, and it felt really good. But nowadays, this card's like whatever. Like, are you gonna like activate it and then they have DPE? Like, okay, they just chain DPE or like pop DPE effect engrave. It comes back the next turn, and your Regeki did nothing. Or you activate this on like Dragoon, which I know Dragoon's not really relevant anymore, but like, okay, they just don't. It just doesn't get destroyed. Or they just negate it, you know. Like, it could be really cool to like bait negates and stuff, but that's it, you know. This card isn't really that good anymore. So yeah, it's just like Chalice is better than this card because it's a quick play, and like quick plays are actually really valuable right now, whereas Regeki just isn't a quick play. Just all it does is just bait and negate, which is like relatively mediocre. So I'd like to see Regeki come to 2. Realistically, it could come to 3 and be fine. So, but I could, you know, see this card going to 2. Another card I could see going to 2 or to 3 is Morphing Jar. The most this card is going to do is like Empty Jar. But the problem with Empty Jar, especially like in current format 2020, I guess it's 2022, is if you allow your opponent to draw their entire deck, they're going to Valor this card. They're going to Imperm this card. They're going to, you know, do something to stop this card. Like, Empty Jar is just not viable anymore. And that's the problem. Which is like the problem with the deck. It's not the problem with the format. That's the problem with the Empty Jar. And so Morphing Jar could go to 3 tomorrow and be fine. Never do anything. Never they see like the light of the day. It could be really cool as like a rogue deck, but it dies to like any hand trap. Maybe not one specific hand trap, but like if they droll this, if they ash this or Valor Imperm, like you just lose, you know. You can maybe play through it once, but you're not going to be able to play through a playset of Valor, you know what I mean? Like, Morphing Jar, Empty Jar, completely fine. This could go to 3 and be okay. Next card we have on the list is obviously just stuff they're definitely going to do. Skull Crobat Joker going to 3, going from 2 to 3. Just natural moving up. It's completely fine. Danger Nessie going from 2 to 3. This is probably the worst danger anyways, like on the current forbidden list. Like, the only thing that could be a problem is that it's a good danger that always generates a body. That was why they were on the list in the first place. The Sukanoko, Jackalope, and Nessie, they were all dangers that no matter what got discarded, it always put a body on the board. In the case of Nessie, you would just discard it and search the Jackalope or the Sukanoko. And then in either of those cases, if the Jackalope gets discarded, you summon Suk from deck. If the Sukanoko gets discarded, you summon the Sukanoko. So in any of those scenarios, you put a danger body on the board. And it doesn't matter what you discarded. And you get to like cycle through cards, which is really cool. But that was really the problem with them. But Nessie's the most awkward one of the 3 because it's a weird level and it has a weird type. The really cool thing with Sukanoko and Jackalope is that they're level 3 and you can do really cool stuff with that. But Nessie being level 7 is just really awkward. There's not any good rank 7s really in the game, especially not ones that you really want to go for. And so it really makes that Nessie kind of in that weird gray area that it's like, this card is good, but it's not that good. You know what I mean? So it could be fine at 3 and do nothing. For the last card we have on the list is Emergency Teleport. So we got spoiled that Emergency Teleports in Grand Creators. So I think that this card is probably going to go to 3, especially because it's at 2. And it's doing relatively decent at 2, but it could be really cool to see it at 3. Plus, I would really like to see that Assault Mode engine like in more decks. I think that could be really cool. So, Emergency Teleport going from 2 to 3, it'd be completely fine as well. It's not going to do a whole lot. It's not going to like break the format. It might be broken in the future though. Being able to summon like a tuner from deck is insane. To go into Hulk for basically like free off of any normal summon plus Emergency Teleport is like insane. But like, I don't know. Eventually this will probably go back on the Forbidden and Limited list, but I think it'd be really cool to see this card go to 3, at least for a little bit. Something like Roto did a couple years ago. How it's now back on the list. Very similar to that. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys later. Let me know in the comment section below what was my bad take, what was my good take, and any other random takes or cards I missed in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, guys.